In an unexpected and unprecedented twist in French politics, Prime Minister Sebastien Lecornu has resigned, just hours after unveiling his new cabinet. In this video, we explain why this sudden resignation is being seen as a deepening of France's political crisis, what led to Lecornu's downfall, and what it means for President Emmanuel Macron's fragile government. French media outlet BFM TV first reported on Monday morning that Prime Minister Sebastien Lecornu had submitted his resignation to President Emmanuel Macron. This came just hours after his cabinet lineup had been revealed, following weeks of consultations with political parties and pressure from the streets in the form of massive protests against proposed public spending cuts. According to the Élysée Palace, an initial list of 18 ministers was announced on Sunday evening by Secretary General Emmanuel Macron. In a surprise reshuffle, former Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire was appointed Minister of the Armed Forces and Veterans Affairs, effectively replacing Lecornu in that role. Several of President Macron's allies managed to retain their posts. Jean-Noël Barrot continued as Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, while Elisabeth Borne remained as Education Minister. Roland Lescure, once Industry Minister, stepped into the powerful role of Finance Minister, succeeding Eric Lombard. But the new cabinet lineup triggered backlash across the spectrum. On the right, Bruno Retailleau had warned that cooperation from Les Républicains was not guaranteed. Despite this, several of their ministers stayed on, including Retailleau himself as Interior Minister and Gérald Darmanin as Justice Minister. Meanwhile, former Sarkozy-era Minister Eric Woerth was handed the Overseas Territories portfolio after François Rebsamen declined to serve, citing his progressive convictions. Before stepping down, Lecornu admitted he was, in his own words, the weakest prime minister of the Fifth Republic. He pledged not to use Article 49.3 of the French Constitution, which allows governments to push budget bills without parliamentary approval. He said, quote, "In a parliament that works, you cannot force your way through or coerce your opposition." Markets reacted instantly. French stocks dropped sharply, and the euro weakened on news of Lecornu's resignation. His exit marked yet another chapter in the instability that has gripped France since President Macron's re-election in 2022, with no single group commanding a majority in parliament. Macron had already deepened the crisis last year by calling snap parliamentary elections, which only further fragmented parliament. Lecornu, who was only appointed last month, became Macron's fifth prime minister in just 2 years, underscoring the scale of instability at the heart of French governance. France has struggled to hold on to its prime ministers because every attempt at reform, from spending cuts to labor market changes, collides with fierce public resistance, spiraling debt, and a fragmented parliament that refuses to build stable coalitions, leaving Emmanuel Macron weaker with each resignation. Sebastien Lecornu's resignation not only throws France's leadership into disarray, but also raises pressing questions about the survival of President Emmanuel Macron's administration. With France already facing protests, economic uncertainty, and a divided parliament, the road ahead looks even more uncertain. For more updates on this developing story and in-depth coverage from around the world, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Indian Express.